But this just sent straight from Philly. Philly MC said they want that smoke, so we're gonna see what y'all got. Meek Mill, you know, you ain't got nothing but air and opportunity to show them how it's done.
I'm at a point in my life like we all grew up in the streets and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons, sent us back to jail. I had to fight against that the whole time.
Where would you be right now if you were just Meek Mill, who nobody knew, if you didn't have all these powerful people who raised your case up and made people pay attention?
I would be in prison.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
Meek Mill's got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had.
They promised him everything, but what he got was a nightmare disguised as opportunity. Tonight, we're connecting the dots between Diddy's mentorship and the steady downfall of one of Philadelphia's brightest stars. This isn't just about music industry politics. It's about prey and predator power dynamics, and what happens when desperation collides with manipulation. Here's what most people overlooked. Meek Mill wasn't randomly picked by Diddy. He was carefully targeted at his weakest moment. Fresh out of prison in 2018, with his career uncertain, legal issues piling up, and desperate for real support. That's when predators strike. Not when you're strong, but when you're thankful. Diddy had mastered this playbook over decades. Spot young talent at the edge, offer them rescue through connections, then slowly change the terms until they're stuck. The promise always begins as mentorship, but the reality turns into something much darker.
Meek Mill's got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had. Dressing alike, being cozy, Puff calling him daddy, saying little innuendos to him. People are looking at that and saying Meek Mill is wrong for saying no Diddy. But you can't tell a man how to spend his money and how to make love to his wife or his Diddy.
Gene Deal doesn't speak lightly. He's not talking about late studio sessions or contract fights. He's talking about the cost Meek paid for stepping into a system built to exploit. That cost showed up on May 3, 2014, when Diddy spent $25,000 to rent the Parisian Palace in Las Vegas for Meek's 27th birthday. To outsiders, it looked generous. To insiders, it was an investment. And investments demand returns. According to property manager Jason Hayes, the aftermath wasn't a party. It was an initiation. Stained sheets, drugs, blades, and locks on bedroom doors with keys only Diddy controlled. That wasn't celebration. It was construction of a trap.
They came recently. This happened a long time ago. But they recently just made a statement that they found loads of cocaine. I wonder what they did with the cocaine, because they didn't turn it over to the police. They said they found loads of cocaine, razor blades. They said that the sheets were bloody, nasty. They found a whole lot of used condoms. And it was a Diddy party, giving in Meek Mill's honor for his birthday. I was like, yo, wow.
Gene's reaction says it all. This wasn't shock. It was confirmation of what insiders already knew. When someone who's seen Hollywood's darkest corners calls something disturbing, it means boundaries were crossed most can't imagine. That party was never about Meek's birthday. It was about breaking him. Meek was supposed to symbolize Philadelphia's fight through struggle. Instead, he became a warning of what happens when desperation meets predator power. His city, his streets, his supporters, none could face what he had become. The transformation wasn't slow, it was calculated. Matching outfits with Diddy, public submission, filmed moments of intimacy, each move stripping away his credibility and independence. Once you're no longer feared in your own city, you become fully dependent on your handler.
Everybody kind of knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that shit. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood shit.
Philadelphia's shame wasn't about homophobia. It was about watching their own son get played. A city built on reading people, on spotting strength and weakness, could see Meek had been fully compromised.
It's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this shit. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be question about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
That's the industry's secret. They don't break you with violence. They break you with gratitude. Make someone believe they owe you everything, and they'll accept what they'd normally reject. Meek's humiliation wasn't just personal. It was a tool. The Lil Rod lawsuit claims Diddy used it to recruit others, showing that if Meek could be controlled, anyone could. His success was turned into bait for the next generation.
And Diddy could promise a producer, if he's in a act, that he could give him a Grammy. What kind of power, who he doing, or what he know, that he could get that done? That's some kind of spooky shit, bruh. No disrespect. That's real spooky. If he could promise somebody. And good thing the kid didn't believe him, because if the kid would believe him, he might have got his booty hole tore up. So my whole thing about it is, listen here, man. He has to have some real power, but he showed us his power. Remember at the BET Awards? Remember when they was trying to go to commercial? And he said, nah, we not go. Whoever done that, bruh? Whoever stopped the people from going to commercial? Nobody ever did that but Diddy, bruh. So he has some kind of power.
That Grammy promise wasn't just for Lil Rod. It was the same bait Diddy had used for years, offering industry validation, then recording the compromise to secure silence and obedience.
We really don't know what was said, but the kid said he told him, this is somebody I admire. This is somebody you got high aspirations for, that you want to be like. Look and see what he doing. This is what you should be doing too. Wow, that was crazy.
Showing victims footage of others isn't just coercion. It's psychological warfare. It signals resistance is useless while pulling them deeper into the system. Meek wasn't only broken for Diddy's gain. He was used to break others. The cycle was clear. Find weakness, exploit gratitude, document compliance, then use it to trap the next victim. That's why Meek's reaction to exposure was so frantic. When your career rests on a lie, truth is the real threat. So when the Lil Rod lawsuit hit in February 2024, Meek's response wasn't calm denial. It was panic. Offering $100,000 to prove innocence isn't confidence. It's damage control. Innocent people need lawyers. Guilty ones need PR.
Attorneys will take on cases and say, hey, this dude paying out this quick. He'll pay us $1 million right quick, or $300,000, whatever, if he wants stuff to go away. And, you know, I'm sure those insurance companies that he has that mainly, y'all don't know, is the one that be paying those things out. I try to educate y'all on, is usually your company insurance companies that pay them out and make the decisions. When you have the business insurance, or the businesses, you have the different type of insurance that make you pay out the thing. Because by the time you have all the different lawyers and stuff involved, it's just as quick to settle a case. So that's unfortunately is what's happening in the Puffy. Everybody's gonna come out of the woodworks. So I'm not trying to say that he don't deserve any of these lawsuits. I don't believe about Meek Mills. I'm a Meek Mill fan. I don't know what happened. I noticed when he talked about it though. Meek Mill didn't deny it. Like I said, I don't want to believe that that is true, but I'm one of those like y'all. When don't say you motherfucking crazy, I ain't never did no like that. Then it's usually some smoke with that fire. And so I'm not up here saying Meek Mills was involved in that thing. I'm not saying Usher. Yeah, I am. Or Justin Bieber and all of them. Puffy gonna turn out to be our modern day. Oh, y'all about to get mad. He gonna be our modern day Michael Jackson.
Reggie Wright explains it best. Lawyers can smell desperation, and desperation pays. More telling, he notes what everyone saw. Meek never denied the allegations. He just got loud, frantic, and sloppy.
Meek Mill says he will pay $100,000 to an investigator to find out why his name is being tied in with the Diddy allegations. Back in February, Diddy was sued by a former employee for assault. The lawsuit included redacted names, and fans believe that Meek Mill was one of those names. The lawsuit was filed by Rodney Jones, and he alleges that Diddy told him he had relations with an unnamed rapper. The footnote of the lawsuit claims that that rapper is from Philadelphia and dated Nicki Minaj. At the time, Meek Mill tweeted denying the allegations that they were talking about him. He denied being gay or doing any drugs, and he made multiple tweets about this, completely denying that he had any sort of personal relations with Diddy in that way. Now, many months later, as Diddy is still being investigated, Meek put out another tweet. He says, "I want to hire an investigative team $100,000 cash to find out every specific detail involving Meek Mill's name to Diddy's case. I also want them to look at who is powering the media involving Meek, anything to do with Buddy, something not right."
This story isn't just about Meek. It's about a system built to exploit and silence. Stay tuned, because the deeper we dig, the darker it gets. Don't just watch, pay attention.